ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa is attending a Good Friday service in Ermelo in Mpumalanga. Let's listen in.
Of the ANC in Mpumalanga, Comrade Chirwa, the regional leaders of the African National Congress here in this region, and the district leaders of the ANC as well, the acting mayor, and more importantly, all of you as the congregants of El-Shaddai Tabernacle Church. I greet you all once again in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, Mfundi, Apostle, uma uti before uminister engethula ufuna ukuthi inkosi indlalele wathi lo ufuna two things must happen ukuthi kwenze i-offering manje ngiyibonile i-offering yenziwe ngacabanga ukuthi yonke iza kimi No, I'm happy to know where that offering has gone to. I rise here to applaud all of you, the members of El-Shaddai Tabernacle Church, because I was told that your offerings don't go into anybody's pockets. They go to the church fund. And with those offerings, you've built this beautiful church. I applaud you. I was told that with your offerings, you were able to build this temple of God, and there was no sponsor. You were the ones who contributed to the building of this church, which cost a couple of millions of rands. I just wish the members of my own organization now contribute and contribute I know some of you are members, so we are also here to learn. Members of the church are generous and they contribute in the way that you have to build this wonderful house of the Lord. I want to thank Bishop Ndaga for his wonderful sermon. And he said that he would want the word to settle in our hearts. And Bishop Ndaga, I can tell you that the sermon you presented today has settled in my heart. And I thank you very much. Thank you very much. But more than that, because I'm not here to preach, I've come here just to receive prayers and to be amongst you here in Ermelo and to be part of this Good Friday service. So it should not be a platform for politicians like me to come and make politics in the church, but just to receive your blessings, to receive your fellowship, and to be with you. That is what has brought us here, and we are very pleased to be among such positive people. You are amongst the most positive South Africans I have come across. Nyabonga ukuthi ne positive about your country. Even the message, the sermon that came from Bishop Ndaga, even the introductory prayer that was presented by Apostle Nkambule were all very positive. Positive about the future of our country, positive about our ability as a people to get out of the challenges that we face. Minister Lamula is absolutely right. Our country faces enormous challenges. We have, over the past 2 years, been facing a challenge of COVID. I-COVID yasehlela singabantu bala eMzantsi Afrika. Kodwa yayehlela bonke abantu emhlabeni wonke. And all countries in the world have been involved in trying to find ways of saving lives, of preserving livelihoods, and making sure that the economies of their countries do recover out of COVID so that the economies can best serve the people of those countries. COVID descended on our country when we least expected it, and it has ended the lives of more than 95,000 South Africans, and has led to the loss of 2 million jobs in our country, and has devastated the livelihoods of many people in our country, destroyed businesses, led to the closure of many businesses, and destabilized our lives. For 2 solid years, we were under the shadow of COVID-19, and it has wreaked havoc. Notwithstanding that, our government tried everything that it could. It pulled out all the stops to make sure that we save more lives that could have been lost. We save more jobs that could have been lost. We stabilize our economy so that our economy can continue operating and recover after COVID. We even went a step further. We did what many other countries have not done. As we saw the suffering of our people, we then said, those who are employed, who are no longer going to work, must get assistance. The businesses that were faltering must also be supported in as many ways as we could. We also said those people who have no income whatsoever should also be assisted. And that is when we decided that we are going to support an extra 11 million people to get even as little as 350 rand per month. Many countries have not done that. On the African continent, only South Africa did that. So you can see, Bazalwane, that our government, much as it has faced these challenges, and much as along the way there were missteps, there were challenges, and there were mistakes that were made, we stayed the course and made sure that we are going to stand by our people as they go through this dark valley, this shadow of COVID-19. And now 11 million people, plus 18 million people, now get assistance every month from this, your government. Asishayeleni izandla le government. Whilst we thought ukuthi we were dealing with the COVID-19, sayehlelwa in July last year. The unrest in July last year descended on us in Gauteng and in KZN. In the end, some 350 people lost their lives. And yes, we have admitted that there were missteps in the security cluster, but at the same time, it gave us the knowledge that we need to strengthen our security cluster and make it a lot better. And as we brought COVID-19, the state of disaster, to an end, Sati no, our infections, they've now gone down. And we think we can end the state of disaster. Just as we thought that it was safe to get out of a state of disaster, we had another disaster, a natural disaster, descending on our country and particularly on our KwaZulu-Natal province, where already we've got close on to 340 people who have lost their lives. The floods, the rains that have come down on our people in our area in KwaZulu-Natal have caused a lot of devastation, a lot of havoc, and it is a catastrophe of enormous proportions that we have not seen before in our country, that so many people can die and more than 40,000, and I think it will be more, people will be affected, many of them being displaced, but the houses are destroyed, people have lost everything. I went to one family that had lost 10 family members all at one go. That was one of the saddest moments that I experienced, even as president, to look at family members who have lost 10 of their fellow members in one event, ranging from adult right to young children. That is a tragic event, and the pain and the suffering that the people of KwaZulu-Natal who are affected will feel will last for years, because some of them just saw their family members just being taken away by the river, by the water, as they watched, unable to rescue them, reaching out with their hands to hold them, but the power of the water just took them away. That has been a very, very sad moment for our people. Now, clearly there's a lot that we have to do in KwaZulu-Natal, and some rains are also coming down on the Eastern Cape, and we've already lost one person in the Eastern Cape. So that whole eastern part of our country is now affected by climate change. Climate change is a reality. It is now with us. And we have been seeing it happening as in the awareness of Mozambique, Zimbabwe, climate change has now come to us, and we now need to be serious in the way we deal with it. There's a lot of rain and floods on the eastern part, and there's drought and dryness on the western part, on the more desert part of our country. So we are in the grip of climate change. We therefore need to be prepared as a nation. But another challenge that we've had to face is the problem and the specter of unemployment. Too many South Africans are out of work. Almost 11 million South Africans right now don't work. And that is a huge challenge for us as a nation, It is a challenge that we have to address. And we are making steps to address it, to make sure that we reduce the level of unemployment in our country. Another major challenge is gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is the second pandemic that we are facing as a nation. Gender-based violence continues to spread throughout our country. The women of our country are getting raped by men. They rape even young children. They even kill them. And the women of our country have become continuous victims of the actions of men. And this has to come to an end. We must end gender-based violence in our nation. The other challenge that we are going through is service delivery challenges, where our people are crying out for service delivery, where they live in their municipalities, where service delivery has broken down. That is an added challenge that we face. Just lift it a little bit, yeah. That's better. Another major challenge we face is crime in our country, where a number of fellow South Africans have resorted to a life of criminality, robbing people, even killing people. Now, because it is Good Friday today, it makes me think about the teachings in the Bible. The teachings that you find in 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14, which says, where the Lord says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, shall pray, seek, crave, and require of necessity my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear them from heaven. I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. Bishop Mpumalanga spoke at length about us humbling ourselves. And 2 Chronicles 7:14 is an appropriate message to us as a nation in terms of where we are. Where we are going through all these challenges. But we are a nation that requires and needs healing. We need the healing which Bishop Mpumalanga also spoke about. As the Chronicles 7:14 says, we are called by God's name as the people of South Africa. And we are called upon to humble ourselves. And humbling ourselves means that we need to do things in a particular way. Humbling ourselves, particularly as leaders, means that we've got to be righteous. We've got to do the right things. We've got to be humble to the people of South Africa. We've got to be committed to serving the people of South Africa. And we've got to uphold the highest values. Bishop Mpumalanga spoke at length about the leaders that we need. We need leaders who will lead with humility at all levels, at local government level, at provincial level, as well as at national level. But we also need leaders who are not going to be corrupt. Inkokheli ezingeke zitshontshe imali yomphakathi. Inkokheli ezizozimisela ukuthi bazosebenzela umphakathi. Bangazibeki phambili bona nezikhwama zabo, babeke umphakathi phambili. Bazibone njengabantu abazosebenzela umphakathi. Healing means that we've got to do all those things, but healing also means that we as the people of South Africa must work together to end corruption. Sisebenze sonke to end the scourge of corruption. Because corruption is a two-way process. Kunomuntu oqala corruption, kube nomuntu oamukela corruption. It's a two-way process. Tina, as the people of South Africa, let us now stand up and say we will rid our country of the scourge of corruption. That we will also work together to end corruption. It is important that we work together, and it is important that we call our leaders out. Those that we see participating in corrupt activities, we must call them out. Sibaveze babonakala. Ngoba uma singayenzi njalo bazawuqhubeka nalezi ndlela zabo ezimbi. Bakithi, we deserve leaders who are going to serve the people of our country. We do need that healing in our country. Right now, we need healing in KwaZulu-Natal. As our people go through suffering, as they go about trying to put their lives back together, there needs to be healing. And it is important that being here on Good Friday in this congregation, let us pray for our people in KZN. Let us put them before the Lord so that they can receive the healing that is required so that they can get on with their lives. We also need to create jobs to heal our land. If we do not create jobs, we will not be able to heal this land. Our people are suffering from the lack of job creation. We are putting together plans, together with business, together with the unions, together with community-based organizations, to put those plans together properly so that jobs can be created. And this is needed so that the healing that is talked about in Chronicles 7:14 can take place in our country. We also need to take action to end gender-based violence. This is a scourge that must end. We cannot, as a nation, accept that men are going to continue using the women of our country as their football, kicking them around, raping them, and killing them. Gender-based violence must come to an end, and all of us must work to bring it to an end. We need healing as a nation, and we will get healing once we get rid of gender-based violence. And I'd like to put a message to the men of our country. We've seen a rise in gender-based violence over the past 2 years. We've been taking various actions. The women of our country have stood on their feet and have been insisting that action must be taken. We've taken action by passing laws that are going to make it more and more difficult for those who perpetrate acts of violence to get away scot-free. But we need to raise the consciousness of the whole nation, particularly men, that the women of our country must be respected. The women of our country must be upheld. The women of our country must not be raped and they must not be abused. We want every man in South Africa to take a vow in that regard, because it is unacceptable that gender-based violence has continued to rise in the way that it is. We also need healing when it comes to criminal activity. This land will be healed when we are able to bring the levels of crime down. And we are strengthening our law enforcement agencies, our law enforcement units. We're strengthening them, and we are going to bring the levels of crime down. The criminals are going to be dealt with. We are going to definitely make sure that they find it more and more difficult to operate in our land. We also need healing when it comes to things like service delivery. In November, the people of our country went to the elections, and many of them did not vote. And many did not vote because they are disillusioned with the level of service delivery that our municipalities have been delivering. And we therefore need to change the service delivery trajectory of our country. Uma ubuga, when you look at our municipalities, they are filthy. Kugcwele udoti yonke indawo. Kugcwele amaphepha namaplastiki ey'tradeni zamadorobho ethu. We need to clean our towns, we need to clean our cities, and we need our municipalities. I'm happy that our acting mayor is here. We need to clean Lenny Toro plus the Ermelo. Umsukali must be better than what it is now. Our potholes. Our potholes blocking down. Now, unokuthi labo esibafake kumasipala bahlale bebheke bona self sifuna ukuthi basebenzele umphakathi makuvalwe lama pothole lamaphepha kawasuke. That is where we need healing. Makube namanzi le sewage ehamba ey'tradeni mayiphele. That must be a clear message. Eya kulabo esibafake kumasipala. Ngifuna ukuthi bayizwe kahle. Bezwe kahle ne-reaction yenu njengomphakathi. Ukuthi you do not approve. You do not approve of the potholes in your towns. You actually want those potholes to be closed. You want the streets of your towns to be clean. Singabi abantu abaphila njengengulube. Uhlale kunodoti endaweni la sihlala khona. So they must get it clear and they must get it right. We need healing in that regard. This is the message I am sending to those we have deployed. Oh councillor, oh mayor, oh speaker, oh chief whip bonke sithi hambani niyosebenzela umphakathi. Now, akusiyona indawo la ukuthi ngiyokhuluma ngalo mbutho uBishop Mdaka wayekhuluma ngawo. Kodwa on an overall basis, we need unity in our country. We need this country to be united. And today I am very pleased ukuthi la kuleli sonto you are so positive. Noma nibona ama-challenge akhona, ama-challenge ama-potholes, ama-challenge odoti, and all those challenges, you remain positive. And I leave from here knowing that you are united. You want this country also to be united, so that we act together as South Africans. So that we act together as South Africans, as Bishop was saying to all of us. Because whatever challenges we are having, as Apostle Nkambule said, that whatever breakdowns we are having, there are breakthroughs as well. When there is a breakdown, there is a breakthrough. And I say, let us look for those breakthroughs, because every cloud has a silver lining. Let us look for that silver lining. Where is that silver lining? And go after that silver lining. Because in the end, as Bishop Mdaka was saying, we shall overcome. We have challenges, but we are South Africans. We are people who have resilience. We are people who have inner strength. And we learned this from our forebears. Our forebears went through challenges from the colonial times, when they were dispossessed of their land, when they were dispossessed of their cattle, of their livelihoods, of everything. They persevered. When our leaders started struggling against apartheid, and they were banished, and they were jailed, and they were sent into exile, they persevered. They were strong, and they never gave up. That is what I want us to remember, that as a people, we are people who don't give up. No matter what the challenges are, we can never give up, because imagine if Ubaba Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo had given up, we would not be where we are today. We would never have attained our freedom. They never gave up, and today we are facing the most unbelievable challenges. The challenges that our country faces, the various things that I have counted, require that all of us as South Africans must remain strong, must be resilient, and must know that the dark clouds that we are going through, from COVID to the July unrest, to the state of unemployment, and to the challenges we have, various places in local government, provincial and national government, these are challenges that will make us strong, and we can overcome. As Bishop was saying, we shall overcome, because we are strong people. We are people who get our DNA from our past leaders, and we shall overcome. I love that song, that we shall overcome, because indeed I do believe that we shall overcome. Thank you very much, Nkambule.